So cheese.
FASHI. What is karma?
Okay, karma, it's action. Any action, it's called karma. So it's also called the law of action and reaction. The moment a person does something in thought or in deed, it's called karma. So karma can be mental, can be verbal, and can be physical. So if a person thinks, let's say, to do some action, something, to commit some unwholesome action, I would call it, then there is an unwholesome reaction. So karma is also action-reaction. So you do something because you have thought about something. You cannot do something if you have not thought about it. So that's karma. So action, reaction. But the word in itself, in Sanskrit, it's action, work. Okay? Even nowadays, in India, they use the word kam. Okay? So action, reaction, that is karma. So the Buddha, after he taught the Four Noble Truths, Chaturi Arya Satyani, he taught the Eightfold Path, Ashtanga Marga. And the first thing the Buddha mentioned that was right thought. It means that we have to be watchful about our thoughts, about our mind. So when a person reaches a certain level of control of his mind, then a person is watchful. He guards his own thoughts. Okay? So karma is very detrimental in Buddhism because there are consequences. Okay? If a person is watchful, he knows what to say, and before he says, he thinks, and he thinks twice, 3 times, then the action he does, it's been taught before. There is a beforehand thought. So action, reaction, actually that is karma. But that is in a very simple way, because we do many things sometimes without thinking. Let's say if a person walks at night, okay, there are no lights in the streets. There are some little animals, okay, he treads upon them and he kills them. There is an action, but that action, it cannot be considered, an action that you on purpose walk at night and on purpose you tread upon these small animals, insects or whatever, So it's very important. That's why the Buddha Shakyamuni, he gave some specific orders not to walk at night. And if you want to drink water at night, then the monks, they had a cloth. They used to filter the water. They would not drink, from a pot. They had pots, I guess, at that time. There were no taps, no running water. So they used, I guess, have some pots, big pots. And everyone came there, just put a glass or something, and drank from it. So every monk, he had a filter, piece of cloth to filter the water. That was at night because there were no lights. If a monk is thirsty, he used to get up at night, he's very thirsty. It was not forbidden to drink water. The only thing the Buddha gave orders, it was not to eat after midday. But water, it was allowed. I don't know if there was tea at the time. I think there was no tea or coffee. But water they drank. It was allowed. Okay? Even in the Theravada Buddhism, which they are very strict, I think they drink water. If a person is very thirsty, he drinks water, but he would not drink, let's say, juice or eat. So, because of that, in order not to make an unwholesome action, we call it, in the sutras, akusala. Akusala, it's an unwholesome action. Wholesome action, a good action, because still is an action, it's called kusala. So you have kusala and akusala, but still it's karma. The Buddha said, when you do an action, either way you are bound. If you do an wholesome action, the result is that you will be bound, by fetters. But these fetters, they are made of gold. If the action is unwholesome, that means akusala, you still be bound. Okay? Well, I meant it. Unwholesome actions, akusala, you are bound by iron fetters. The kusala action, you are bound by golden fetters. Either way, you are bound. So you should be watchful, you should be careful. Okay? So the action be wholesome action. It's better. So we watch our thoughts, we watch our mouths, and we watch our physical actions. Okay? It's like telling to a person, be aware, at a such and such point, there is a hole, there is a lion, something like that. So the Buddha gave us, let's say, instructions in a way, not as commandments, but in a way like a friend tells another friend, be watchful, be careful, take care of yourself, something like that, okay? Any way we can put any action, be it mental, verbal or physical, it brings reaction. So, because we cannot avoid this thing, at least the actions we do should be meritorious actions. Okay? The Buddha said the highest meritorious action, what's the most? Is to teach the Buddha Dharma, to spread it worldwide. That's a very good action, because you teach mind, you teach the nature of mind, you teach how to be enlightened, to cultivate the mind, bodhicitta, okay? To reach body, enlightenment, so that you can see, that you can have a clear seeing, a clear vision. It's like, for instance, if in this room there is darkness, I cannot see you. I cannot see your faces, I cannot distinguish what kind of tankas, these beautiful pictures, designs, paintings of Buddha and Bodhisattvas. They're so nice to watch, okay? So, being enlightened is to see your true nature. Because the mind is like a mirror, When it's enlightened, it reflects itself. But it has no will of its own. Its nature, it's made like that. It's light. It's a mirror, So you see your true face. There is a saying, I think in Zen, they say, what was your face before you were born? Or what was your mother's face before you were born? It goes back even, So it has a meaning, That means you know your true nature. If you know your true nature, you know everything. But when you know your true nature, then you are not an individual anymore. You don't see yourself as an individual.